Alright, here's something I picked up at the flea market the other day for only a couple dollars. I think it's $5 or something. Just looking at this thing, how could you pass that up? This is a 1959 GE Model T-120A AM FM phonograph rolling dial. I am really starting to understand why people dog on this era of GE, because that's not even aligned correctly. It's like a blank area when it's on phono. It's supposed to be like that. And like when it is on, say, AM right now, it's like you can hardly see the numbers. And your tuning knob goes backwards from what it's supposed to do. And your on and off switch goes like that. And it's just goofy. You have two huge speakers here, and I'm talking pretty big speakers. Like, I guess here's something that's more for size. And they come across that whole thing. It's like 2.5 to 3 octals long. You know, those are big speakers. Service tag is a little ripped, but this is indeed an 8-tube set. Standard A5 on one chassis, and then you have a more point-to-point old-school style chassis over here that deals with 1 tube for FM and 2 for the AFC, which is automatic frequency control, which kind of locks onto a station, so it doesn't drift around. Pretty new stuff at this time. I'm guessing this cost a lot of money. And you indeed have a phono input and a tape output right here, which is really cool, and I probably would not have grabbed this if it wasn't for that. I have the screws somewhere else, but it didn't have no screws, or let me say that in a way that makes sense. It had screws when I got it, and it still does. They're right here. But anyways, let's crack it open. You know, I must say, they did ventilate this thing pretty well. And please excuse my more nasally and lower voice, but my seasonal allergies have really been kicking in. I'm not sick or anything, but the allergies have got me down. This is probably the hardest they've ever hit, for seasonal allergies at least. Anyways, Musiphonic dual speaker. Ooh. Come around here, and I wasn't kidding. Those things take up nearly the whole thing. Doesn't have too many hours on it. Have their filter capacitor. We have one replacement tube, and the rest of these are all original GE tubes. This is an RCA right here, so this doesn't have too many hours. It's a rectifier tube, and the bottom of the filter is cracking, so I almost wonder if they used it on a half-good filter capacitor. The rectifier tube blew, so then they just replaced it and kept using it on the bad capacitor. I really don't know, but that could very well be what happened, since these paper ones do not last a whole lot. We're going to see if we can repair this thing using just what I have laying around, which is CFL light bulbs that are dead, failed projects, and just spare parts that I have laying around. Because I really don't want to put any money into this, since it's just, I don't know, I'm only going to use it for the phono input. Unless it performs really, really well on FM or whatever, then I'll use it for that. But oftentimes these old 50s FM sets, and I actually have a 40s FM set, it's a Crosley, they don't usually perform very well. It's cool to have one, to have a 70-year-old or 60-year-old FM radio, but they just don't perform as well. But this is, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, corny, whatever, but I think it's kind of neat. You get two big speakers out of it. But let's see what we have to replace here. By 59, there were a lot of ceramic disc capacitors in here. We have, looks like a 3-section filter. What is this? Pyramid. Is that what I think it says? A pyramid BTS capacitor. A BTS capacitor. I'm guessing a lot of you won't understand that. I don't listen to K-pop, but that's a very popular K-pop band, is BTS. A BTS capacitor. That has to become a channel mascot or something. We'll save that one. That one won't be thrown away. Not that I really throw them away. I just have a drawer full of bad capacitors. Anyways, then it looks like we have a Bumble Bomb, but not really a Bumble Bomb, just that kind of casing. Anyways, let's see what I can gather here around the shop for this thing. Here's something I found. I guess it's a pretty high. Holy mackerel, 250 microfarads at 160 volts. Dang, that's pretty high. That's a big capacitor. Anyways, 100 at 160. Maybe I should just throw that in there. It's not super critical. Let's see if I can find another one to fill that out. Alright, here is something that I found. This is kind of a failed project here, unfortunately, but it was cheap anyways. This is a Juliet solid state instant sound from 68 or 69. It's kind of cool, but it's just had it. I mean, this thing is baked. You could tell it was outside for a long time. It got a bunch of mud in it, and it's still powered up when I got it, but it was like, the volume was just minimal when it was wide open. It was, I don't know, this thing is just kind of done. It served its master well. So what we got here is a 200 at 10. Hopefully that can replace the BTS capacitor. I don't remember what the value on it was because I was too interested that it was called a BTS capacitor to really pay attention to that, but it's probably something like 200 at 0.47 or 0.047 or 0.1 or something. This is more than enough. I mean, it'll do it. Alright, I got 4 capacitors here, and you may be wondering, hold on a second, aren't there 5 that need to be replaced? 1, 2, and then 3 in here? Well, it turns out yellow 10 microfarad at 25 volts just comes up here and wraps it together. I'm guessing that GE bought these from General Instruments in like big bulk numbers, and this thing only needed 2 sections, so they said, hey, why don't we just wrap that around the speaker to try to keep it up and out of the way. So you can kind of see that the 50s was really GE's decline in quality, and they really cut some corners then, even though this is still made in the United States. That where it's made doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's more so just the quality. The United States could produce something terrible, and it would be no different than if it was made in China or Mexico or I don't know. But we got enough capacitors here. This thing can replace the BTS capacitor. We're going to name that one John right there. This thing, 473J at 600 volts, can easily do this 0.047 at 200 here. Remember, this isn't super critical. I'm not going to use this every day. This is just going to be plug my phone into it and play 50s music through it kind of thing. Or just use the tube amplifier section. Not super critical here. And then I have a 47 at 160, and I have a 100 at 160. The 100 will go where the 250 is. The The 47 can go where the 50 is, and that will be that for this capacitor here. Anyways, well, let's get to work. Look at that, this thing's got a fuse in it, and it's got this neat little swirly, I don't know what you call that, finish or just something on there. I don't think it's intentional, but you do have this cool 1950s type swirly plastic that holds this dial thing in place. We're going to try to kind of align this dial to be correct. If not, that's fine. I'll probably just have it in phonograph. But I don't know. We'll see. But this is the first time this has been done in 60 years. Let's untie that and do as much destruction to the speaker as possible. Looks like it does have a little hole in it right there. I don't think that's from me, but I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't been handling it rough, but I mean, it's, I don't know. I might have accidentally poked it. We'll see. That's that. I guess we'll probably save this one for last, since it'll probably be the most work. Probably just start with here, then go to the, start with John, the BTS capacitor, and go to the bomb, the Bumble Bomb type one, and then we'll go to the big filter. I do like the amount of disc capacitors. That's really nice for the serviceman. Not a lot of stuff for us to work on. Turns out our BTS capacitor is a 0.047 at 200. I'm not sure the polarity on that, so I might throw in the non-polarity one, but it would, I don't know. Is that negative? I'm guessing so. Alright, the BTS capacitor is lost but not forgotten. Well, it's right there, so it's not lost, but it's gone from here. Let's move on to that kind of axle lead style thing back there, that bumble bomb thingy-majig. That's always a good sign right there. It being bridged because something scraped it and destroyed the connection. Alright, and to replace this IMP, I have this, and it was originally this one, but the legs didn't fit and they were too thick to bend. But this one has really long legs and they're really flexible. It's 503K, which is 0.05. This is a 0.047. That'll be perfect. Gotta love this asbestos cloth here. It's like a wick from something. Also, we got a nice orange drop in there. It's time to do the big filter capacitor. It just takes up so much space. I can't wait to get it out of here. This is actually a pretty little chassis once this big thing is out of here. Keeping with our theme of cheap GE, we have one capacitor's original axle lead going to this little jumper wire, which then connects to the negative of that one. And I didn't mechanically connect those, I just laid them on top of each other down to our normal soldering joint right there. Purposely did kind of a crappy job on that to keep with the cheap GE aesthetics. Anyways, other than that, I think we're pretty much done here. Why don't I bring it up slowly on the Variac? You can see how big of a difference it makes when you remove that big filter capacitor. Looks more empty. Alright, let's take a look at our watt meter. Watts. Holy crap. It's a lot of wattage. It is smoking. I think I know why, too. I don't have a rectifier tube in there. I took it out so I could service it. Crap. Alright, check this stupid mistake out. This is why we have professionals work on this. I didn't have a rectifier tube in there. I don't think that changed a whole lot. But one side of one of my filter capacitors is touching the negative side of all the others. God. I'm big smart, aren't I? Gosh, alright. Back together again. See how much destruction I can do with this accidentally. I understand fuses. I get why that didn't blow, or why, and that they don't really care about the electronic. I'm kind of surprised it didn't blow there, but at the same time I'm not. Anyways, now let's try it. Alright, now we're going. Without smoke. Hey, sweet. Oh my gosh, that thing sounds good. It's on AM too, and it's big boomy bass.
Game 2 of this 3-game series. Only one more game of the Cubs to go here in the regular tomorrow.
Don't imagine this is going to do a whole lot on FM. Alright, attach an antenna to it.
And that one up and in on a fastball, and it's out.
Well, I guess AM works fine. I believe FM probably needs some new tubes. At least the 12AT7 or whatever that thing is. I think I have one. But it's in that thing back there that Heathkit. But this thing reminds me a lot of a 1959 Bel Air. It has that certain 1959 styling. Loud and just big and I guess you could say honkin'. Much like a 59 Bel Air. And Bel Air is so featureful, and this thing is so featureful with its Rolodex of a band selector, its funky tuning knob, interesting on and off switch. But at the end of the day, when this is turned off and the Bel Air's ignition is cut, this is a GE, and the Bel Air is only a Chevy. Did you like my little thing there? Was that funny? Anyways, maybe we can continue this with a new tube if I can get my hands on one, whether it's around here or on the internet somewhere, or just let me diagnose it or whatever. And with that, I will leave you guys off here. Thanks for watching, and sorry I've been off for so long. It's just I've been kind of swamped with stuff lately. More videos to come later.